What if I told you that procrastination is not laziness, not a moral flaw, not proof that you're broken, but a clever, shape-shifting fear wearing the mask of comfort? It tells you you'll feel more ready later, that a clean desk will make a clean mind, that one more video, one more message, one more scroll will somehow put courage in your veins. You know it's lying. You've watched hours turn into days and decisions age into regret. You've felt the ache that comes from being capable and not moving. You've seen how tomorrow quietly becomes never, while life pretends not to notice. The ancient Stoics understood this disease of delay long before phones and feeds. They saw that hesitation grows in the dark and shrinks in the light of small, deliberate action. They taught that the point isn't to feel ready, it's to become reliable, not through drama, through discipline, not through inspiration, through intention. Today, we'll break procrastination with 10 brutal Stoic rules that push you through the door of now. No fluff, no hacks that wither by Friday. Strong, repeatable moves that make action your default, not your exception. Before we go any further, do something that cements your commitment in the tiniest, most public way. Subscribe to the channel now and hit like so this message finds more people who need it the way you need it. Your comment isn't busy work, it's a small action taken now, a vote for the self who moves. Procrastination thrives in fog. It loves vague ambitions, fuzzy edges, and goals so large they cast a shadow big enough to hide inside. The Stoic answer is not to hate yourself into moving, but to turn the fog into a path under your feet. Rule 1 is simple enough to sound silly and powerful enough to change your day. Reduce the task until it almost feels insulting, then start. Write one ugly paragraph, not a chapter. Walk for 5 minutes, not 5 miles. Open the document and type a title if that's all you can face. You cannot steer a parked car, and you cannot sharpen your mind against a task you refuse to touch. The point of a tiny start isn't progress by inches, it's proof. A tiny start proves you are a person who begins. Identity follows action like a shadow at noon. Rule 2 is control the controllable and ignore the rest. Delay grows from fantasizing about outcomes you can't guarantee. Applause, promotions, virality, perfect bodies, perfect reviews. A Stoic asks a smaller question: what can I actually do between now and sunset? Not finish the book, but outline 3 beats. Not become fit, but 20 squats after I brush my teeth. Not change my life, but send this email. If you ever wanted a definition of power that fits in your pocket, here it is. Attention placed only where your hands can reach. Everything else is weather. Rule 3. Schedule the work and obey the appointment like you would for someone you respect. We keep promises to other people because there are social costs to breaking them. We casually break promises to ourselves because the cost feels invisible. Make it visible. Put the work on your calendar with a start and end time. When the block begins, you begin, even if you're terrible. When it ends, you end, even if you're on fire. This box does 2 miracles. It protects you from starting late, and it protects you from never stopping, both of which feed delay. Consistency beats heroic binges that leave you numb for 3 days. Rule 4. Premeditatio malorum. Foresee the obstacles without drama and prepare for them without ceremony. Imagine the hour you set aside. What will try to steal it? Notifications, snacks, the sudden urge to clean the house, the micro-anxieties that feel urgent because the work that matters is uncomfortable. Name them now. Put the phone in another room. Fill a water bottle before you start. Open only the tabs you need. Place a scrap of paper next to you for the random thought that wants to take you to the kitchen or the news. Trap it on the page and get back to the task. Tell someone you love that you'll be unavailable for 30 minutes and then tell them when you'll be back. Prevention is easier than self-rescue. Rule 5. The 2-minute door. Begin with a physical ritual so small you cannot excuse it and so consistent your brain learns what it means. Sit down. Put on headphones. Press play on the same instrumental track. Open the same file. Read the last 2 lines you wrote. That's it. Do it for 2 minutes. You are not negotiating with motivation. You are training your nervous system to walk through a door into a state. Repetition turns the handle. The door opens because you've opened it 100 times before. If you've ever found yourself halfway through a routine without thinking, you've felt this power. Make it work for you. Rule 6. Finish at 80% and return tomorrow. Perfectionism is procrastination in a tuxedo. It tells you to delay because the work isn't ready to be seen by the gods. The Stoic doesn't serve the gods of spotless output. The Stoic serves usefulness and truth. If a draft is honest, safe, and helpful, ship the 80% version to the place it needs to go, then schedule version 2. You do not get paid in outcomes you never dared to publish. You get paid in progress, respect, money, or meaning when you ship. 8s beat imaginary 10s 10 times out of 10. Rule 7. Voluntary hardship. Choose small difficulties so bigger ones don't choose you unprepared. Fast for a simple meal once a week to prove you can delay pleasure. Take a cold finish to your shower to prove you can enter discomfort without drama. Work for 20 minutes without the option to check a single app. Walk somewhere you would normally drive. Call the person you're avoiding and speak the clean sentence. You're not punishing yourself. You're practicing sovereignty. Each time you do a hard thing on purpose, you erase the lie that you must feel like it before you move. Rule 8. Memento mori. Remember you will die, and let that make you urgent without being frantic. We postpone as if later were guaranteed, as if time were a storage unit we could visit after the weekend. The Stoics held death near not to be morbid but to be accurate. When you keep your finitude in view, scrolling at midnight feels different. So does the project that could change the shape of your days if you took it seriously for 90 minutes a day for 90 days. To live like time is infinite is to treat your talent like it's disposable. It isn't. It's on loan. Spend it. Rule 9. Environment beats willpower. If procrastination is the default of your current setup, change the setup. Put your phone in a drawer with a timer for 45 minutes and let the barrier buy you focus. Work at a desk with nothing on it but the tools for the task at hand. Create a start ritual tray so you don't waste friction deciding which pen to use. Use sight blockers during your work block. Future, you will not miss the tweets. If your couch collapses you into naps, stop trying to write on the couch. If your kitchen table becomes small talk, move to a corner with a door. We respect what we design for. Rule 10. Virtue first. The Stoic doesn't start to be admired or to feel good or to post about it later. The Stoic starts because the right thing to do, right now, is to do the work they said they value. Courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. These are not abstract words. They are the shape of actions taken on ordinary Tuesdays. Courage starts the email. Temperance shuts the tab. Justice shows up for the people who count on you. Wisdom chooses the smallest true step over the largest fantasy. When you act for virtue, mood becomes optional. At this point, you may feel a spark, a gentle pressure in your chest that says, "Yes, I can do this," and a second whisper that says, "Maybe later." That second whisper is the one you answer now with a tiny action. Pause the video if you need to. Set a 10-minute timer. Pick the smallest unpleasant task on your list and touch it for 10 minutes. Then come back. If you did it, write "I started" in the comments. 5 minutes done, way more than 5 hours dreamed about. Procrastination often wears costumes. Research, organization, helping others with their goals while yours wait in the driveway. There is a time for research. There is a time for cleaning. There is a time for service. But there is also a time to admit that you're sorting paper clips to avoid writing the sentence that makes you vulnerable. The Stoic path is not anti-feeling. It is pro-truth. The truth is that most important work comes with a twinge of threat because important work puts your identity on the line. The cure for that threat is not waiting until the fear disappears. It's moving while fear rides shotgun and learns you're the one driving. Let's walk through a day that many of us live by habit and upgrade it with Stoic replacements. You wake up and reach for your phone. Instead, you reach for a glass of water, stand up, open a window, and write down the smallest useful action for the day. You usually scroll until the mind is crowded and the day is half gone. Instead, you keep the phone in another room until your first 30-minute block ends. You normally wait for inspiration. Instead, you use the 2-minute door. Headphones, same song, same file, last 2 lines. Your mind recognizes the ritual and follows. You normally clean your desk for an hour. Instead, you set a 10-minute timer and allow exactly 10 minutes of tidying and no more. You usually try to do everything in one session and fry yourself. Instead, you finish at 80%, schedule version 2, and protect the afternoon from panic. Some of you are thinking of the big chronic delays, the degree, the business idea, the book, the conversation you've avoided for years. The Stoic approach does not start with a grand vow. It starts with a next action that could be performed by a person who's been procrastinating for a decade and is tired of it. Order the domain. Email the registrar. Open a blank document and write a terrible, honest paragraph about why you want to do this before you die. Make a list of 5 people who have done something adjacent. Ask one of them a question that can be answered in 60 seconds. Put a date on the calendar to visit the place. Submit the form. Sit in the office. Grand vows almost always become grand excuses. Small moves become habits that turn into evidence that turns into identity. There is a quieter layer beneath all of this: self-forgiveness. The person who cannot forgive themselves for yesterday's delay tends to delay again today because shame is heavy, and heavy people move less. The Stoics practiced a simple evening review. They wrote down where they wobbled, what they learned, and how they would try again tomorrow. No theatrics. No self-hate. A steady conversation with the self you're training. You are not your worst afternoon. You are not your longest rut. You are the next honest rep. Draw a line under the day. Start over at dawn. And yes, there will be days when everything in you says, "Not now." On those days, shrink the promise again. One sentence, one push-up, one email that moves the chain. One page read out loud, then stop if you must. You didn't keep the pace, you kept the pattern. Patterns carry you when pace deserts you. The people you admire are not superhuman. They are just honest with math. Small true things done repeatedly beat large imagined things worshipped from afar. Midway check-in. If this is clarifying the shape of your delays and giving you handles you can grab today, subscribe and hit like so the algorithm doesn't bury this beneath noise. And answer in the comments with a specific, "I'm starting with 10 minutes on X," and tag them. Turning insight into a sentence turns a sentence into a start. Let's talk identity, because procrastination is not just a time problem, it's an identity problem. Many of us secretly believe we are the kind of person who plans well and finishes late, who dreams vividly and ships rarely, who cares deeply and somehow misses their own deadlines. We live down to that story. The Stoic flips it. Identity is not a prophecy. Identity is a trailing indicator of repeated behaviors. Start acting like someone who moves in small ways and your identity will follow like a well-trained dog. It will resist at first. It will catch up if you are patient and consistent. Also, beware the fantasy that a better system will save you in the absence of choices. Tools help, but they are multipliers of intention, not replacements for it. A calendar multiplies a promise. A timer multiplies a start. A checklist multiplies memory. But none of these move without a decision. Decide, then use tools to hold the decision in place when your mood changes, which it will. The Stoic accepts the weather of moods and builds a shelter out of routines, so their work doesn't drown every time it rains. A word on fear, because almost every delay bends toward it. Fear of doing it badly, fear of being seen halfway, fear of picking the wrong thing and missing a phantom better thing. The Stoics didn't exterminate fear, they domesticated it. They kept it on a leash short enough that it couldn't drag them out of their values. When fear says, "Not this," reply, "We'll find out." When fear says, "What if it fails?" reply, "Then I'll learn." When fear says, "What if they laugh?" reply, "Then I'll keep going." Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear decide. Consider your evening. Most people burn the last hours in a blue glow and call it rest. Turn your night into a launching pad instead of a graveyard for intentions. 30 minutes before bed, close the loops that leak tomorrow's morning. Lay out your shoes. Put the document you'll open first in the center of your desktop. Write one sentence at the top that tells you exactly what to do when you return. Draft 3 bullet points on the intro. Fix the second paragraph. Send the note to Anna. Put the phone to sleep in another room. Tomorrow should not start with negotiation. It should start with execution. What about when you fall off for a week, a month, a quarter? You don't need a confessional. You need a restart so small it makes laughter in your throat, and then a week of protecting that restart from your own ambition. People don't fail because they can't work hard. They fail because they won't start small enough to escape gravity. Gravity hates tiny, silly starts because tiny starts take off before it can grab your ankles. Laugh at the size. Do it anyway. The results will not laugh back. Think of someone you love who is wrestling with delay. Not to judge them, but to practice compassion in action. Send them this and say, "Let's do 10 minutes together today." Virtue loves company. And 10 minutes done with a friend beats an hour fantasized alone. You are not a machine. You are a human. Humans move better with witnesses and partners. Do not confuse accountability with shame. Accountability is love in calendar form. Put your names next to a time and show up for each other. You will both become people who keep promises that fit inside your lives. If you're still here, it means there is a part of you that is so tired of waiting for a better mood that you're willing to build a better habit. That part of you deserves reinforcement. Subscribe now and hit like so this message keeps reappearing when you need it. Then write one line in the comments declaring your micro-start. 10 minutes on my application. Open the file at 7 a.m. Walk for 6 minutes after lunch. Escreve também. Acontece isso com você? Você conhece alguém que vive adiando? Marca e chama para começar agora. Before we close, let's gather the rules into one continuous breath so you can carry them in your pocket. Start small until it's almost funny. Aim your attention where your hands can reach. Put the work on a calendar and show up like it's a person. Anticipate the thieves and lock the door. Walk through the 2-minute door and let your ritual drive the first mile. Ship at 80 and schedule version 2. Choose tiny hardships so bigger ones don't choose you helpless. Remember you will die and let that make today heavier than someday. Design your environment so action is the default. Begin for virtue, not applause. Procrastination will never send you a letter announcing its exit. It will simply find fewer places to hide. You'll notice that your mornings start with action more days than not, that your afternoons have fewer panic sprints because your mornings did their job, that your evenings carry more peace because your day carried more honesty. You will still have ruts. You will still have days where you sink. The difference is that ruts are now paths back to the road because you laid stones while you were paying attention. When you miss, you won't burn down the house. You'll relight the candle and keep building the room you want to live in. We are closing, but not in the way videos usually close with a rush of music and a tidy bow. We are closing like a door that you will open again tomorrow, with the handle exactly where you can find it in the dark. Subscribe and like so this door stays easy to find when you forget where you put your courage. And in the comments, write the one line you will send to your future self tonight in the file you'll open in the morning. Write also for the sake of the community we're building. And tag the person you want to see, calmer and stronger a month from now. Public promises become rails. Rails keep trains moving in storms. Keep going.